You don't actually want the thing you say you want. I know. You don't actually want the success, the fame, the recognition, the money, the partnership, the health, the travel, the connection. You actually want the feeling that these things give you. And this is a moment. I remember when I began to digest and metabolize this concept and bring it into my life, a lot changed for me. And I hope it does for you too, because ultimately, right, whatever it is that we want a role, we want a collaboration, we want an award, a certain amount of money, a certain status, a certain car, a certain partnership, a certain brand deal, I don't know, whatever it is. We want it because it fills something in us that we don't currently have, and we think it'll make us feel better. So with the success, do you want recognition? Do you want to be celebrated? Do you want to be appreciated for who you are? With money, do you want freedom? Do you want accessibility? Do you want stability and security, right? It's identifying the feelings behind the things we say we want, and we can use this as a tool to then almost invert the path and draw that experience to us, because the brain and body, the unconscious, doesn't know what's pretend and what's real. I mean, ultimately, this whole 3D perceived reality right now is an illusion. It's a hologram. And so we're only operating from a conditioned set of programs and patterns that we've inherited or have occurred because of certain traumas or ancestral pain or societal conditions. And those beliefs, they show up. Essentially, our belief system is like all we're seeing outside of us is reflected what's happening internally. So when we begin to put the mirror on ourselves and use our emotions as guiding light to actually embody the wholeness of what we want right now in this generous present moment, we're literally magnetizing the experience to us. So when you begin to feel the emotions of gratitude and abundance and joy and overflow, you're generating that wealth. When you begin to feel connected and in love and in just like awe of life, you're generating that partnership. And the amazing thing is it puts you back in the driver's seat. So often we can feel powerless and feel like victims to our experience. And this is essentially just a level of consciousness. And it's quite normal to forget how powerful you are all the time, because we were never, number one, taught that. Number two, we're never taught how to harness that. And number three, we weren't taught to be creative with our power. I mean, even as artists, like I knew this for me studying at a Russian theater school in Uzbekistan. Like I learned the best acting methods on the planet. I mean, all Western theater comes from the Russian method. I mean, to learn Mikhail Chekhov in Russian is just like actor's dream, right? But it's amazing because as an actor, I'm creating a life, but I never thought to apply it to my own experience. And I've talked about this before, but I really think it needs to be said, because as artists, we're creating something from nothing, and then we're not quite sure how to do that with our own lives. It's totally fine. We just haven't learned a specific formula. And, there's many ways to do this. There's many forms of spiritual wisdom. There's many forms of energetics and emotional processes and healing from trauma. And what so many people don't actually grasp is that manifesting isn't achieving or getting. It's literally peeling away the parts of you that say it's not possible, or you can't have it, or it's too late. It's all these programs and patterns and conditions. It's this deconditioning. And it's innately a healing process. Manifesting is a healing process. And I say this all the time, especially with tapping, when we begin to get into these internal programs. Oh, my arm's getting tired. I need to get support with that. I'm like, whoa. When we get into these internal programs and really begin to actually process and feel the feelings that have been dormant and stagnant and static and just like compounded on over time, and we allow them to process and heal and move through our nervous system, and therefore discharge them and transmute and alchemize them back into what we actually want to be feeling. This is not only an alchemical process, but it's innately a healing one. And when we create that space, when we show up every day for this process, then more and more spaciousness is created inside of our bodies, inside of our energy fields, inside of our mental space, our emotional space, our energetic space, our spiritual space. And then manifesting just becomes so much easier. It becomes just a byproduct because you actually have the space in you and around you to receive what you desire. And so using your capacity to tap into, attune to those emotions right now is literally aligning you with that timeline in the quantum field. And we just have to make it a habit, right? If you're looking for wealth, how can you tune into abundance and freedom, like all the qualities of that wealth, whether it's 10K months, 100K months, 50K, whatever it is, right? Or it's, for me for a long time was teaching my body, brain, and nervous system to generate abundance from my gifts. This is huge for me. This is something I really had a competing and a limiting belief system around. I just didn't think it was possible. Like a core part of me knew it was, like that's what I'm here on the planet partially to do, like as an actress. But a part of me, a conditioned part of me, a traumatized part of me, a part that inherited so many ancestral programs and so much pain was like, how is this possible? How is this possible? And over time, I had to dismantle that through tapping and then also get into the practice of training my mind, body, and nervous system to feel the abundance, feel the joy, feel the gratitude of the experience before it happens. And this creates a whole new baseline, a whole new equilibrium, and it normalizes this foreign feeling to our nervous system, because like so often our unconscious, our nervous system, it doesn't care about our success, our wealth, our happiness, our love. It just wants safety, and what's safe is familiar. So to create the sustainable success you desire, the sustainable relationship, the sustainable financial security, the sustainable self-connection and self-esteem and self-concept, it's a gradual, and well, of course there can always be leaps. Quantum leaps are absolutely possible and can be normalized, but it's like a ladder, right? We're going from point to point, and I'm able to think of things, call in things, co-create things, magnetize things I wasn't able to do 2 years ago, because that would have been just so deeply foreign to my nervous system and my limbic system and my unconscious mind that I was still working on it. There's no doubt about it that I was still teaching myself how to feel these things now, but I was building that foundation. I was planting the roots. We think we just want to go up and go big, but it's really equally about going down and planting that down to build that sustainability, because we don't want to receive our desires and then topple over by them. Like we see this so often with so many celebrities and stuff that they gain the success, and then something inside them says, well, I'm not worthy of it, or I can't have it, or I'm going to sabotage it, or it's not good for me to have it. What will my family think of me? What will my friends think of me? What does the public think of me? Whatever it is, right? We all have our own stories and challenges and own personalized beliefs around that, and also societal ones. And I know that you're not here to simply just have a flash of success. I know you're here to make it your lifestyle. You're here to make it your norm, where miracles are normal to your experience, and they are absolutely normal. My goodness, this is a miracle right now. You and I speaking right now, wherever you're watching this, it's a miracle. Our breath is a miracle. Our bodies are this miracle. Our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, it's all a miraculous thing. And when we begin to shift that lens and shift that perspective and realize everything you want is already inside you right now, and it's a call to go deeper, right? Like, where would, let's say, the muse or the gods or the cosmos hide the key to human creativity and existence and expansion? It's where a human being would not look. It's inside themselves. We want to look outside, here, there, everywhere. We want to anesthetize. We want to numb. We do everything outside of us to get a certain feeling. And when you realize you can generate these feelings from within, that's like, boom, new timeline, new awakened state of being, understanding that at every moment you're co-creating something. And it's not to say, right, like, oh my gosh, what happens when I have a doubt or I'm confused, or, right, what I say with tapping is the treasures in the trigger. It's here to unlock new wisdom for us. And it's also given by the universe. It's given by the creator, and it's a gift in itself, right? It's an opportunity. It's a lesson. It's a test to essentially transform that negativity back into your power. And there's no bad emotion. There's no even negative emotion. It's just something that's more dense or perhaps more uncomfortable. And what I love with tapping is that you no longer become afraid of these emotions, but you learn to look for the gifts inside of them, right? Pain is a portal to the light, and it has an intelligence. And so if you're constantly finding yourself falling into certain habits and programs of constantly feeling self-doubt, or constantly feeling guilty, or constantly punishing yourself, that was a big one for me for so long, that I'm now deeply aware of and actively reprogramming and reconditioning myself to expand and grow from. We can look at it, step away, pause, step away, look at it as the observer of the experience and say, oh, that's interesting. Sera's feeling this again. How wild is that? What triggered that? What's causing her to feel this way? Is this an opportunity to transform it and come back to the timeline that you actually want to be living on your chosen, desired, brightest, highest timeline? And so when we begin to understand that it's not about the fame, the accolades, the this, the that it's ultimately an inner game and an emotional game at that. I have another video talking about how emotional freedom is literally the ticket to everything you want, because we're here to be like beautiful painters on the tapestry of human consciousness, of the human condition, and every emotion is a gift, right? The deeper you can feel pain and hurt and guilt and sadness and grief and rage, the higher and more robust you can feel joy and bliss and ease and flow, right? The higher you want to be, the deeper you gotta go, baby. And it's very affirming to know that you won't be stuck there. I think so often why people stay in their heads is because they're simply afraid to feel. We've never been taught how to feel. We've never been taught how to just even regulate an emotion. We've been taught to suppress. We've been taught to numb out. We've been taught to anesthetize. We've been taught to dissociate. We've taught to become disembodied. And so there's this activation and awakening on the planet right now, all about getting back into the body and processing our emotions and reconnecting with this. And right, as actors, we know this is literally what we're trained to do. But here's the thing. It's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong exploration. It's a lifelong discovery. And when you begin to make it a game, when you make it your own creative process, when you begin to be living your own masterpiece, that's when it gets fun. That's when it gets like, oh my gosh, let me jump in and make something magical today. Let me make it right now, because you are a superstar creative power. That's innately what you are. You're here to create. You're here to heal the baggage and pain that your soul came to the planet to heal, and awaken the gifts and mission and visions you're here to bestow humanity, because we need it. There's only one you. There will only be one you. There is one you, and you have this unique opportunity in this lifetime, in this form, to heal, transform, alchemize, transmute, and co-create and share, generate, service humanity with your unique gifts. And so I invite you to tap into these emotional frequencies today and begin to ground them into your body, and even just feeling it out, right? You can even, this is where as an actor, we use our fantasies, we use our imagination. Like, what would that be like, right? This is when people talk about act as if, or laws of assumption, or, embody it. Just live it now as if you had it, right? We can use our imagination and our fantasy for that visioning process, but we want to ground it into the body too, right? So I usually tap on my chest if sometimes I'm in a triggered moment, or I'm feeling like it's a little difficult to conjure. I don't immediately go from like extreme guilt to like joy. I go from like guilt to just finding some calm, some safety, some inner security, some inner peace, and then maybe some lightness, maybe some humor. Below, I'm going to link my video about laughter tapping, because it's one of my favorite fucking methods to use in tapping. It's so fun. So I'm going to link it, and I hope you go use it, because it's just going to make you laugh, and it's like the most fun thing ever. It's so fun. But a great way to do it, again, is just getting our somatic body involved. That's the unconscious, getting our nervous system in the game, calming down our fear center of the brain, the amygdala. That's the smoke center for fear, like, oh, primal brain, danger, danger. No, tapping, calming it down. Yes, I can hold this threshold. I'm coming back to my power and choosing to tune into a certain emotion, right? I'm choosing to feel calm. I'm choosing to embody abundance. I'm choosing to reconnect with my power, and inviting in the magic of your visions, of your intentions, of your thought forms to support you in that. Excuse me. And even now, like, my body feels different. Even now I have images just like conjured in my mind. That's almost like alpha brain, not almost, it is like alpha brainwaves. That's our more creative state. And then when we get down to theta, which we definitely access in a tapping session, is our that's the hypnotic state. That's when we're most suggestible to new things. That's when the analytical mind goes down and the subconscious mind opens up. And that's the emotional mind, baby. That's the emotional mind. Literally, we're just like walking emotions in a body. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Meet me in the comments. Tell me how this resonates. I would love to know, number one, what you're calling in specifically. A level of success, a partnership, an accolade, an amount of money, maybe a trip you want to do. And number two, drop down the top 2 or 3 elevated emotions you're going to commit to feeling and training your brain, body, and nervous system to feel on a daily basis. So for instance, it'd be number 1, I'm calling in an acting role that uses all of my gifts. And number 2, the elevated emotions I'm choosing to feel are bliss, gratitude, and ecstatic joy. That was kind of like 4, but whatever. Okay, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. Welcome to the Electronic Ensemble, baby. We are a creative cohort spanning continents, spanning consciousness, spanning space, time, and motion, connecting in the ether and making magic together, And if this video hit home for you, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share with a friend, a creative colleague, someone who needs this message today, because at Actor to Artist, we love the partner. So much love. Take care and talk soon. Ciao. Mwah.